The Fourth Air Army was a Soviet Air Force formation and from 1992 to 2009 was part of the Russian Air Force. From 1998 the Army was designated the Fourth Army of Air Forces and Air Defense. It was first established on the 22nd of May 1942 from the Air Forces of the Soviet Southern Front, and fought on the Eastern Front until 1945. In 1949 it was redesignated the 37th Air Army. It was reformed on 4 April 1968 in Poland, and was active there with the Northern Group of Forces for over 20 years, shifting to the North Caucasus Military District in August 1992. The arrival of the Sukhoi Su-24 drastically changed its tasking in the 1980s. Second World War. Upon its establishment in May 1942 it had 208 aircraft and 437 crews and consisted of 216th Fighter Division, a 216th Mixed Aviation Division, 217th Fighter Aviation Division, 229th Fighter Aviation Division, 230th Assault Aviation Division, 219th Bomber Aviation Division, 218th Night Bomber Aviation Division, 1 Training Regiment, 7 separate Mixed Aviation Regiments, 1 Communication Squadron, 1 Long-Range Reconnaissance Squadron. In June 1942 one more regiment was added, the 588th Light Night Bomber Regiment, that became the first women's unit in the Soviet Air Force. In February 1943 it was reorganized into 46th Guards Night Bomber Aviation Regiment, and in October 1943 it became the 46th Tamin Guards Night Bomber Aviation Regiment. In 1943, the Army supported the Kerch-Eltigen operation and assisted in the battle for air superiority over the Kuban. 2 regiments that formed part of the Army, the 57th GIAP and 821st IAP, flew Lend-Lease Supermarine Spitfires in 1943 for a period. Alexander Pokrishkin was one of its members, and one of the most successful aces of WW2, as well as having the distinction of being awarded the Hero of Soviet Union 3 times. On the 17th of July 1943 the 216 SAD IAD was redesignated the 9th Guards Fighter Aviation Division. It was commanded by Colonel Alexander Pokrishkin from April 1944 to May 1945. In summer 1944 the Army covered the separate Coastal Army during the Battle of the Crimea. It was then reassigned to the Second Belarusian Front and participated in Operation Bagration, the East Prussian Offensive, the East Pomeranian Offensive, and the Battle of Berlin. Overall during the war it flew about 300,000 sorties. In July 1945 the Army included the 8th Fighter Aviation Corps, the 4th Assault Aviation Corps, the 5th Bomber Aviation Corps, the 164th Independent Guards Reconnaissance Aviation Regiment with P2R, and the 844th Transport Aviation Regiment equipped with the Li-2. After World War II the 4th Air Army remained in Poland, and appears to have been disbanded in the late 1950s. Its units transferred to the 37th Air Army until 1968. On the 22nd of February 1968, in accordance with a decree of the Presidium of the Supreme Soviet of the USSR, the 37th RRMY was awarded the Order of the Red Banner. On the 4th of April 1968 the 37th RRMY was redesignated again into the 4th Air Army, which the Army had during the Second World War. However, the Army was again disbanded at a later stage. and reactivated on 21 August 1984 as the 4th Air Army of highest command together with the Higher Command of the Western Strategic Direction, and from 12 October 1989, the 4th Air Army of the Northern Group of Forces, after the Su-24s started arriving as part of General Nikolai Agarkov reforms. 4VA became an independent army with operative designation, subordinate to the HQ of Western Direction. The 24th Air Army of the Southwestern Direction shared that status. Those were the only Air Force armies with Su-27 fighters, tasked with cover of the fences. From 1989 until the withdrawal from Poland, the Army included the 164th Reconnaissance Aviation Regiment, 245th Mixed Aviation Squadron, 151 U Regiment, 55th Separate Sevastopol Helicopter Regiment, 19th Separate Communications and Automated Direction Regiment, and other smaller units of Direct Army HQ subordination, and the 239th Fighter Baranovitchskaya Red Banner Air Division, headquartered at Klajevo and consisting of the 159th, 582nd, and 871st Fighter Regiments, and the 149th Bomber Aviation Division with the 342nd Guards, and 89 Bomber Aviation Regiments as its primary combat formations, over the border in the Kaliningrad Oblast, but still part of the army, was the 132 Bomber Sevastopol Red Banner Air Division at Chernyakovsk. On the withdrawal of Soviet forces from Poland, the 159th Fighter Regiment moved to Basovets Air Base and joined the 6th Air Army, and the 871st Fighter Regiment moved to Smolensk and eventually disbanded. The 151st U Regiment moved back to Shukin in the Belarusian SSR in August 1989 and definitely disbanded in 1992, with its aircraft being broken up at the 558th Aircraft Repair Facility at Baranovichi. Following withdrawal from Poland from 1992, it became the aviation component of the North Caucasus Military District. On the 22nd of August 1992, the headquarters of the 4th Red Banner V was relocated to the city of Rostov-on-Don and relieved from assignment from the VGK headquarters. 1st Guards Bomber Aviation Division arrived from Lida in Belarus in 1993 and headquarters 16th Guards Fighter Aviation Division was moved to Milerovo from Damgat in DDR on the 30th of October 1993 and became part of 4th Air Army the day. On the 16th of June 1997, the President of the Russian Federation signed the decree about prime measures on reforming armed forces of the Russian Federation and perfection of the structure. According to the decree, on the basis of the 4th Air Army and the 12th Separate Corps of the Air Defense Force, the 4th Army of the Air Forces and Air Defense was formed on the 1st of June 1998. The 10th Bombardment Aviation Division, headquartered at Yeysk with up to 90 Su-24s in 3 regiments, was part of the Army during the 1990s. At some point between January 2001 and September 2005, the division headquarters disbanded. Yeysk Airfield, the previous home of a training aviation institute directing around 3 regiments of L-39s, was turned over to Russian Naval Aviation in September 2009. In February 2004, regional command staff trainings took place in Kabardino-Balkaria. 02.2006 COMD staff exercises jointly with the 58th Army of the North Caucasus Military District. 8 Su-25 took part in Peace Mission 2007 joint Russia-Sino exercises. The commanding officer of the 4th Air Army from February 2007 was Lieutenant Lieutenant General Igor Miroshnichenko. In August 2007, Command and Staff exercises were held. 11.2007 Caucasus Rubas -2007 COMD Staff exercises. 03.2008 Flight Tactical Training. In 2009 the Army was disestablished and Russian Air Force's units in the Caucasus grouped under the 4th Air and Air Defense Forces Command. Structure 2007. Headquarters 4th Army of Air Forces and Air Defense, Rostov-on-Don 1st Guards Composite Air Division, Krasnodar 559th Bomber, Aviation Regiment, Morozovsk, Su-24 in service. Previously based at Finsterwalde in East Germany with the 16th Air Army, 959th Bomber Aviation Regiment, Isk Airport, operates the Su-24 and L-39C, 368th Assault Aviation Regiment, Budyonnovsk, Su-25, 461st Assault Aviation Regiment, Krasnodar, Su-25, 960th Assault Aviation Regiment, Primorsko-Akhtarsk, Su-25, 51st Air Defense Corps, Rostov-on-Don 3rd Fighter Aviation Regiment, Krimskaya, Su-27, 19th Fighter Aviation Regiment, Milerovo, MiG-29, 31st Fighter Aviation Regiment, Zernograd, MiG-29. Previously based at Falkenberg in East Germany with the 16th Air Army. Disbanded 2009. SAM Regiments. 11th Independent Reconnaissance Air Regiment, Marinovka, operates the Su-24 Mister, formerly based with 16th Air Army, Welsau, East Germany. 535th Independent Composite Air Regiment, Rostov-on-Don, Mi-8 and 12 and Un-26 in service. Ex-Army Aviation Component 55th Independent Helicopter Regiment, Gorynovsk, Mi-24, Mi-8. 325th Independent Transport Combat Helicopter Regiment, Yegorliskaya, Mi-26, Mi-8. 487th Independent Helicopter Regiment for Battle Control, Budyonnovsk, Mi-8, Mi-24. In addition to the above forces, Russian aviation forces in Armenia, probably within the ambit of 4th Air Army, comprise 18 MiG-29 fighters of the 426th Fighter Squadron and the 700th Air Traffic Control Center, both at the 3624th Air Base at Erebuni Airport outside Yerevan. Regiments of the Army. The 11th Reconnaissance Aviation Regiment traces its history back to the 19th of July 1942, when it was formed at Goroshino Airfield, 24 kilometers west of Torzhok in the Kalinin Oblast. Home states it was formed at Koplachki, Kalinin Oblast, for the 3rd Independent Long-Range Reconnaissance Aviation Squadron and from parts of the 506th Bomber Aviation Regiment. Home also says in November 1942 a 3rd Squadron was formed from the 320th Independent Reconnaissance Aviation Squadron. The regiment was equipped with the P-2 reconnaissance fighter bomber and joined 3rd Air Army, fighting in the Vitebsk-Polotsk operation and the defense of Vitebsk, for which it received the honor title Vitebsk on the 11th of July 1944. After its participation in the Shiaulier offensive operation, Shiaulier-Matava operation, it received the Order of the Red Banner on 10 August 1944. In 1952, the regiment converted to the Il-28 Beagle, based at Jekapels and Krustpils in the Latvian SSR. It moved to Neuwelsau in the German Democratic Republic in July 1954, joining 16th Air Army. In August 1968 it took part in the invasion of Czechoslovakia. In the early 1990s it was withdrawn from the former GDR to the North Caucasus. The 368th Assault Aviation Regiment was formed on 12 July 1984, at Zivanovoy in Ukraine. In October 1986, the regiment moved to Chishik in the Uzbek SSR, where it prepared to join the Soviet effort in Afghanistan. 2 weeks later it was relocated to Bagram Air Base, north of Kabul. From October 1986 to November 1987 the unit's aircraft fought in Afghanistan, with 2 squadrons operating from Bagram and the third from Kandahar. Though aircraft were occasionally deployed to other airfields, including Shindand and Kunduz, the regiment was relocated to Kalinov, moving to Chortkov in Ukraine in May 1988. It then joined the 16th Air Army in East Germany in December 1988, moving to Demmin.